A retired Antarctic pilot by the name of John Ingram was presented with an irresistible opportunity. The Antarctic Research Institute invited him back for a special reconnaissance mission over the icy expanse of Antarctica. Intrigued and eager to fly again, he accepted the offer. On a frigid morning, he boarded his old companion, a modified Lockheed C-130 Hercules. The mission was straightforward, to map out some remote regions of Antarctica that satellites had trouble covering. With the seasoned expertise of decades, he piloted the aircraft over the vast, shimmering white landscape. After hours of monotonous icy scenery, a blip on the radar broke the tranquility. It was a mountain, a towering spire of ice and rock, standing solitary amidst the endless white. At its summit was an oddity that puzzled the pilot, a large, perfect circle that radar identified as an opening. He circled around in order to get a better look. His curiosity piqued. The mouth of the cavity was colossal, big enough to fit a football stadium. The pilot estimated the opening was easily over 300 feet in length, big enough to fit a plane inside. Unable to resist the mystery, he decided to descend for a closer look. He expertly maneuvered the aircraft into a daring low-altitude hover, just above the mouth of the mountain. Peering out of the cockpit, he saw the hole wasn't merely an opening. It was an entrance to an expansive cavern, disappearing into the heart of the mountain, shrouded in darkness. Realizing the potential significance of the find, he marked the location on his GPS and took high-resolution photographs. As much as he yearned to explore further, he knew he was not equipped for such an expedition. He ascended back into the sky, his mind racing with possibilities about what could be hidden within the cavern. Upon his return, he presented his findings to the Antarctic Research Institute. The photographs and coordinates sparked an immediate buzz among the researchers. The possibility of an unexplored cavern of such size in Antarctica was an enticing prospect. However, the pilot said that he was told that the discovery wasn't of interest and that an exploration team wouldn't be sent to the location. As the news of the discovery spread, it captivated the team's imagination. Those who knew the pilot said that they eagerly awaited updates on the mysterious hole atop the Antarctic mountain. However, he was told that the discovery wasn't of interest and that no further flights would be made to the mountain. The pilot ended by saying that he still wonders what was inside the cavern that led directly into the mountain. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that something strange has been found in Antarctica. In the bitter heart of Antarctica, hidden amidst the icy wilderness, is a research station named Aurora Base. It is a scientific outpost tasked with studying the desolate landscape and the hidden secrets of this cold frontier. According to a social media post, one winter, the Aurora team embarked on a new expedition, a journey into the subglacial lakes, which exist under kilometers of ice. Armed with state-of-the-art technology, the team lowered a specialized submersible probe through a borehole in the ice to explore the unseen depths of Lake Vostok. As the probe descended through the ice, its cameras relayed images to the team above. The first signs of life were simple, single-celled organisms. But as Poseidon plunged deeper, it started to transmit pictures of creatures much more complex and bizarre. Creatures that defied the known boundaries of life in such extreme conditions. One such creature was a translucent, bioluminescent entity, nearly 2 meters long, undulating gracefully in the frigid darkness. Its otherworldly glow illuminated its surroundings, and the creature seemed to be covered in a constellation of glowing spots. Biologist Dr. Everson, staring at the live feed in awe, said that it's like a living starfield. In the following days, the underwater probe captured images of other unusual life forms. There were organisms with metallic exoskeletons, creatures resembling prehistoric trilobites but much larger, and swarms of neon-colored microorganisms that glowed beautifully under the probe's lights. Each new discovery was a revelation, a testament to life's tenacity and adaptability in Earth's harshest environment. Word of these astonishing discoveries spread across the base. Soon, every eye was glued to the live feed. Everyone held their breath each time the underwater probe descended, eager to see what strange creature it would uncover next. One evening, it encountered something that brought every heart at the base to a standstill. An enormous shadow loomed over the submersible. As it came into focus, a gigantic creature, unlike anything ever seen before, appeared on the screen. It was a massive creature, easily the length of a whale, but unlike any known marine animal. It had multiple bioluminescent appendages and an intricate pattern of glowing lines along its body, casting an ethereal light in the dark abyss. Stunned by the sight of this gargantuan lifeform, the Aurora team realized they had discovered an ecosystem entirely unknown to science, hidden beneath the ice. It was a humbling experience, reminding them of how much more there was to learn about our planet. In the following months, news of the monsters of Lake Vostok reached every corner of the globe. It sparked a renewed interest in Antarctic exploration and the study of extreme environments. To the scientists at Aurora Base, these strange creatures were a beautiful reminder of nature's infinite ability to surprise and astonish us. The Antarctic ice, once thought to be lifeless, now held a world teeming with strange and remarkable life, shattering our understanding of where life can exist and thrive on Earth. A man named Luis Fr. reportedly captured a video showing a large humanoid figure walking on a mountain in Mexico back in 2003. While this footage has been circulating for some time, it has recently gained renewed attention as discussions about large humanoids have resurfaced online. It is worth noting, however, that sightings of colossal beings on mountains have been documented before through various means, and this particular encounter adds to the collection of alleged evidence depicting giants in such environments. When the video footage was shared, individuals began expressing their opinions on its content. Many pointed out that there is a noticeable presence at the mountain's summit, which, at certain points in the video, resembles a human figure. Interestingly, this shape remains relatively stationary throughout the duration of the footage, leading some to suggest that the object is actually a balloon. Additionally, local residents have witnessed peculiar creatures throughout the area, which has further fueled speculations. Some residents have reported observing large, hairy humanoids that bear a striking resemblance to the figure in the video. Numerous individuals residing in close proximity to the area have come forward, sharing their encounters and describing the creature as towering over 8 feet in height and possessing incredible speed and agility. There is a popular tale circulating among knowledgeable hikers in the area, suggesting that they have come across these beings near the mountains. This has sparked speculation that there might be a hidden civilization residing in close proximity to these regions. Several hikers have reported experiencing hallucinations while dehydrated or feeling fearful for their lives during mountain treks. These incidents have resulted in them witnessing the presence of a sizable creature roaming the area. One legend goes that in the heart of Spain, where the Sierra Nevada mountains cast long shadows over the sun-drenched valleys below, an age-old tale continues to echo through the villages. This tale tells of the giants who live within the mountain caverns, staying clear of the human eye, but very much a part of the region's lore. Centuries ago, these mountains were uncharted territories, inspiring awe and fear among those who dared to venture into their rugged slopes. Among these brave souls were the ancestors of the villagers, who had noticed strange phenomena in the mountains. The inexplicable rumbling beneath their feet, the peculiarly shaped entities that seemed to move in the corner of their eye, and the echo of a deep, resonating hum filling the valleys at dawn and dusk. One chilly autumn evening, a shepherd named Thomas ventured deep into the mountains, drawn by the mysterious humming sound. As he moved closer, he felt the ground tremble beneath his feet. Suddenly, a massive boulder moved aside, and from the darkness emerged a colossal figure. Filled with fear and fascination, Thomas watched as the figure, a giant, stretched out its limbs and walked off into the mountains, causing the ground to shake with each footstep. Word spread throughout the villages about Thomas's encounter, sparking a sense of awe and trepidation among the inhabitants. As time passed, these stories morphed into legends, shaping the villagers' respect and reverence for the mountains. They believed that these giants were the guardians of the Sierra Nevada, protectors of the mountain's natural beauty and resources. Over generations, the inhabitants stopped venturing into the mountains. During the harvest season, they would leave portions of their crops near the mountain caves as offerings. On New Year's Eve, they would light bonfires, a symbolic gesture representing the giant's warmth and protection over the past year. In time, these tales of the Spanish giants faded into myth, regarded by outsiders as mere folklore. Yet, for the inhabitants of the Sierra Nevada villages, the giants were very much a reality. The mountains were their home, and these gentle behemoths were their neighbors, a constant presence that shaped their lives and culture. The villagers lived in harmony with these mythical beings, their existence intertwined with the rhythms of nature and the cycles of the seasons. The mountains echoed with their stories, resonating with the deep hum of the giants, a reminder of the mystical bond between humanity and the natural world. In the end, whether these giants truly exist remains a mystery. What is certain, however, is that their legend has etched an indelible mark on the cultural fabric of the Sierra Nevada region. In the hearts of the villagers, these gentle behemoths remain as the guardians of the mountains, a testament to their reverence for the power and mystery of nature. Thus, the tale of the Spanish mountain giants continues to echo through the Sierra Nevada, a tale of mystery, respect, and coexistence that binds the people to their awe-inspiring landscape. And perhaps, in the tranquil hours of dawn and dusk, if one listens closely, they might still hear the deep, resonating hum of the giants, a melody of an ancient time, a song of the mountains. With reports of these humanoids surfacing from all around the world, it's no surprise to amateur researchers that the mountains of our world may be home to giant ape-like creatures. Those who have allegedly encountered these creatures have said that they dwell within the distant mountainsides and wilderness, uninhabited by humans. One such creature that closely resembles the humanoid that was captured by Luis Fr. is known as the Almas, and these Mongolian hominids were believed to have inhabited the mountains across Central Asia, as well as the Altai Mountains of Western Mongolia, of which the majority of ancient reports were made. The oldest known verifiable record made of the Almas was written by a man known as Hans Schiltberger, a prisoner of the Mongol Khan that had been sent to Mongolia and wrote about his observations of the surrounding landscape and people back during the year 1420. In his journal, he wrote the following excerpt surrounding the Almas creatures. On the same mountain, there are savages, who are not like other people. They are covered all over the body with hair, except the hands and face, and run about like other wild beasts in the mountain, and also eat leaves and grass and anything that they can find. End quote. There have been endless debates, both archaeological and scientific, surrounding the existence of these creatures, as more and more people have come forward with their stories. Something interesting has just been captured by a local resident in Oregon. The individual who captured the object called 911 and said that they could see a large fireball in the sky, noting that they were worried that it might have been a plane that was having some difficulty. The images were then posted to social media, with various people putting forward their own theories for what it could have been. The 911 call revealed that the individual had taken pictures of the event, with Polk County Sheriff's Office soon arriving on the scene and taking their own photographs. Once officials in Oregon arrived on the scene, they reported that they started looking for a crash site. However, as the investigation continued, it's reported that the sheriff's office, along with locals in the area who turned up to help, couldn't find any evidence that something had crashed. Oddly enough, when investigators started to conduct further research, they reported that no plane was reported missing, but did note that there was a recent meteor shower in the area. The Polk County Sheriff's Office said the following: "That's what it was more likely attributed to, or what was seen. Although we're not 100% sure." End quote. The mysterious object was first seen at around 4:50 in the afternoon, but the sheriff's office said that their helicopter searches turned up nothing. The size of a meteor that NASA or any other space agency can detect depends on a variety of factors, such as the sensitivity of their detection instruments, the distance between the meteor and the Earth, and the speed and trajectory of the meteor. NASA has a program called the Near-Earth Object Observations Program, which is designed to detect, track, and characterize asteroids and comets that could potentially pose a threat to Earth. The program uses a combination of ground-based telescopes and space-based instruments to search for these objects. Generally, NASA and other space agencies can detect meteoroids as small as a few millimeters in size using ground-based telescopes, but they typically focus on detecting larger objects that could potentially pose a threat to Earth, such as those larger than 140 meters or 459 feet in diameter. However, it's worth noting that not all meteors are detected before they enter Earth's atmosphere. Small meteoroids can enter the atmosphere undetected and produce visible meteor trails, also known as shooting stars. These are usually harmless and pose no threat to Earth. Authorities further reported that after several investigations had taken place throughout the area, utilizing helicopters and people on the ground, there was no sign of the fireball and also no impact site that would help them positively identify what the object was. The sheriff's office posted on its Facebook page and reached out to the public, saying that they did not know the exact location of where this happened. What's strange is that this isn't the first time that one of these strange fireballs has been witnessed in the sky. Oddly enough, other residents have said that while seeing these strange objects, they've also heard mysterious booms and questioned whether jets had been scrambled to investigate whatever these objects are. As many have reported, these strange fireballs have been seen above various countries, and in most of these cases, the strange objects have prompted police to investigate the sighting further. Many have said the same thing, suggesting that the fireball is an aeroplane that was in trouble, but some have disputed this, saying that although planes do fly over most of these regions, a lot of the time one didn't fly over at the specific time that the object was seen. As of right now, people are still speculating as to what these objects are and where they're coming from. The vast, icy landscapes of Antarctica are home to some of the world's most unique and elusive wildlife. However, certain accounts stretch the boundaries of conventional biology, delving into the realm of the unknown and proving that creatures might exist that are not yet confirmed by science. Among these unverified creatures is the ningen, a humanoid entity purported to lurk in the Antarctic waters. A military personnel posted about their mysterious encounter with a creature while working in Antarctica. Due to not wanting to give out any personal information, we'll call him Sergeant Adams. Deployed to a remote research facility in Antarctica, Adams was part of a small team maintaining logistical operations. One night, Adams was conducting a routine perimeter check when he spotted a massive, vaguely human-like silhouette in the water. With pale, luminous skin, the creature appeared humanoid, but its size far exceeded any humans. This creature fits the description of the ningen, a mysterious creature reputedly observed by Japanese whaling crews. Ningen, Japanese for human, are said to have a human-like face, a long mermaid-like tail, and measure up to 20 to 30 meters long. Their color is uniformly pale, blending with the ice, making them incredibly difficult to spot. Adams, trained to keep a level head in high-stress situations, quickly reported the sighting, noting the creature's approximate size, shape, and location. His superiors were skeptical, suggesting he might have seen a known marine animal, like a whale or a large seal, distorted by the tricky Antarctic light conditions. The notion of a ningen existing is challenging for several reasons. The extreme conditions of Antarctica also make it unlikely that a large, previously unknown mammal could remain undetected. Those who've investigated the unknown have argued that the vastness and inhospitable nature of Antarctica, combined with the limited number of observers, could allow such a creature to remain hidden. For them, Adams's account adds to a growing body of anecdotal evidence supporting the ningen's existence. To the wider public, the story of Adams and the ningen serves a symbolic function. It underscores our incomplete knowledge of the natural world, particularly in extreme environments like Antarctica. As much as science has uncovered about our planet, there are still frontiers that hold mysteries and perhaps new species to discover. Furthermore, Adams's encounter illustrates the human capacity for wonder and the desire for discovery. Adams reported that he was told not to share his encounter and that what he saw was most likely a marine animal. The fascinating field of cryptozoology, dedicated to the study of creatures whose existence is not confirmed by mainstream science, hosts a plethora of intriguing tales and mysteries. One such cryptid that has captured the imagination of many is the ningen. Originating from Japanese folklore, The ningen is said to be an enormous humanoid sea creature reportedly spotted in the icy waters of the Antarctic. First gaining widespread attention in the 1990s, accounts of the ningen describe it as a marine entity, reaching up to 20 to 30 meters in length. Its most distinctive feature is its uncannily human-like shape. With a face, arms, and even fingers on its supposed hands, albeit devoid of any distinct facial features aside from eyes and mouth. The first reported sightings of the ningen come from alleged testimonies of crew members of government-operated whale research ships. These accounts, which often describe encounters that occur at night, found their way onto internet forums, soon catching the attention enthusiasts who research the unknown. These online discussions, coupled with supposed photographic evidence, further fueled speculation and interest in the ningen. The ningen's cultural significance is notable. Its humanoid form set in an inhospitable environment challenges our perception of life and evolution. The unsettling combination of the familiar and the strange evokes a sense of the uncanny, a key element in many horror and science fiction narratives. The ningen thus resonates with universal fears and fascinations concerning the unknown, the humanoid, and the monstrous. Skeptics of the creature point out the lack of solid evidence supporting the creature's existence. Critics suggest that alleged sightings may be misinterpretations of known sea animals, such as the beluga whale or giant squids, particularly under difficult viewing conditions in the Antarctic waters. The sometimes blurry and low-resolution photos purportedly showing the ningen are considered unreliable and easily manipulable. The thought of a lost civilization, obscured beneath layers of Antarctic ice, is an enticing notion that has captivated both historians and enthusiasts alike. Modern understanding of human evolution and migration patterns suggests that humans have not inhabited Antarctica in any large-scale, organized manner. The extreme climatic conditions, coupled with its geographical isolation, make it highly unlikely that humans could have established a thriving civilization there. However, some speculative theories propose that Antarctica might not have always been the inhospitable, ice-covered wilderness it is today. These theories often hinge on the controversial concept of Earth crustal displacement, a geological hypothesis put forward by Charles Hapgood in the 1950s. According to this idea, the Earth's crust could shift over the molten layers below, repositioning continents towards or away from the poles. Hapgood suggested that Antarctica might have been located in a more temperate zone several thousands of years ago, potentially allowing for a civilization to thrive. Those interested in this topic often tie this idea with the Piri Reis map, a pre-modern world map showing a strangely detailed depiction of the northern part of Antarctica, seemingly ice-free. Advocates for a lost Antarctic civilization often point to this map as proof of advanced geographical knowledge potentially derived from a now-vanished civilization. However, the scientific consensus does not support these claims. The geological evidence indicates that Antarctica has been covered in ice for millions of years, much longer than Homo sapiens have existed. Nevertheless, the possibility of a lost civilization in Antarctica has fueled numerous works of fiction. These narratives often involve ancient, advanced societies buried under the ice, waiting to be discovered by intrepid explorers or unsuspecting scientists. They tap into our collective fascination with the unknown and the allure of ancient hidden knowledge. What if, against all odds, a lost civilization were discovered under the Antarctic ice? Such a discovery would revolutionize our understanding of human history, challenging many established theories about human evolution, migration, and technological development. It would also raise numerous ethical and logistical questions about how to study and preserve such a civilization in such an extreme and sensitive environment. While scientists have said that the existence of a lost human civilization buried in Antarctica remains hypothetical, the concept provides a fascinating paradox. It highlights the contrast between our thirst for discovery and our scientific understanding. Antarctica, Earth's southernmost continent, presents an icy, remote, and largely untouched wilderness. Comprising about 14 million square kilometers, it is a vast region, 98% of which is covered by ice. Despite numerous expeditions and research initiatives, much of Antarctica remains unexplored, inviting scientists and adventurers to unravel its mysteries. Antarctica's sheer size and harsh environmental conditions make it a challenging region to explore. It is the coldest, windiest, and driest continent, with temperatures that can drop below -80 degrees. The inhospitable climate, along with the logistical challenges of accessing the interior regions, mean that large portions of the continent, particularly those distant from research stations, remain unexplored. Antarctica's icy surface is, on average, more than a mile thick, and in some places, it extends to over 4 miles. Beneath this vast ice sheet, a complex and largely uncharted landscape of mountain ranges, valleys, and lakes exists. The bedrock underlying the Antarctic ice remains one of the least known areas of Earth's surface. While satellite and aerial surveys have allowed us to map the broad contours, detailed knowledge of this hidden landscape is scarce. The subglacial lakes of Antarctica, such as Lake Vostok and Lake Ellsworth, represent another frontier of exploration. These lakes, buried under kilometers of ice, are thought to have been isolated for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. They could hold clues about life's ability to thrive in extreme conditions, and possibly about the history of the Antarctic climate. However, accessing these lakes without contaminating them presents significant technical challenges. The Southern Ocean, which surrounds Antarctica, is another relatively unexplored area. Its frigid, stormy waters are home to unique ecosystems adapted to extreme cold and seasonal darkness. The ocean's depth and rough conditions make exploration difficult, and as a result, much of its biodiversity likely remains undiscovered. Even the ice itself holds unexplored secrets. Deep ice cores offer a window into Earth's climatic past, potentially revealing information about historical temperature, atmospheric composition, and even evidence of past life. However, drilling and retrieving these cores, especially from the deepest ice, is a challenging and resource-intensive task. Several factors contribute to the lack of extensive exploration in Antarctica. The harsh climate and remote location present significant logistical challenges and risks. International treaties, such as the Antarctic Treaty System, also regulate human activity on the continent to protect its unique ecosystems and prevent territorial disputes. While these regulations are crucial for preservation, they also limit exploration. Scientific research in Antarctica requires substantial funding, often challenging to secure given the continent's remote and inhospitable conditions. Furthermore, the technical challenges of exploring under the ice and the deep sea require specialized equipment and expertise, adding to the cost and complexity. As of right now, despite our advances in technology and scientific knowledge, vast areas of Antarctica remain unexplored. This final terrestrial frontier harbors potential insights into Earth's past climate, life in extreme environments, and even possible analogues for advanced life. Covering over 70% of Earth's surface, the world's oceans are a testament to the vastness of our planet. Despite their ubiquity, we have only scratched the surface in understanding their depths. Current estimates suggest that less than 20% of the world's oceans have been explored, leaving approximately 80% largely untouched by human investigation. Our oceans range from shallow coastal areas to deep-sea trenches, with the average ocean depth being approximately 3,800 meters, around 12,500 feet. These deep regions, known collectively as the deep sea, comprise the vast majority of the unexplored oceanic territory. The deep sea, characterized by high pressure, low temperatures, and near-total darkness, is one of the most hostile environments on Earth, leading to unique biodiversity and ecological systems that we are only just beginning to understand. Various factors contribute to the large percentage of unexplored oceans. Technological limitations pose significant challenges. The immense pressure at extreme depths makes survival difficult for both human divers and machinery. Existing underwater vehicles and equipment are also limited by their range and the duration they can spend underwater. Additionally, the darkness and vastness of the oceans present navigational and visibility challenges that further complicate exploration. It's true that we know more about the surface of the Moon than what is happening within our very own oceans. Seen as one of the most unexplored areas of the planet, our oceans are teeming with incredible mysteries and strange occurrences that have left experts all around the world baffled and amazed since their discoveries. In fact, few of these discoveries are as mysterious in their nature as the humanoid sea people witnessed by numerous historical figures in the past. Referred to as mermaids, these elusive half-human, half-fish hybrids are at the center of strange sightings from all around the world when discussing unexplainable ocean mysteries. One interesting story was shared by someone on Reddit. However, the story has since been deleted by the original poster. One person, though, who knew the original poster told me about the story. They said the story goes that a woman was talking to her father about the mysteries of the oceans, and they got onto the topic of mysterious creatures. Her father worked for the United States Navy and started to open up about some of the mysterious things they had witnessed. The father went into detail about how the ocean was very eerie, and that while out in the middle of it he would see and hear strange things. One of the things he said was that he would often hear whistles and voices, something that to this day he can't explain. The daughter then said that her father traveled to the Philippines, and it was here that he was told about some of the local legends. It said that he got talking with one local woman, and she went on to tell him the story of the time she encountered a mysterious aquatic humanoid. She described the creature as being 7 feet in length, possessing 2 large black eyes, large webbed hands that had claws, a humanoid-like body, and a face that she described as looking like a demon. The encounter happened while she was on a boat. As she was coming home, she heard a loud knock and knew that she had hit something. She said that sometimes this happens, and in most cases it's either litter that's made its way into the ocean or trees and other debris. However, as she leant over, she saw 2 large black eyes staring back at her. She said she let out a loud scream and quickly left, not wanting to stay in the area with the unknown creature. The father was fascinated with the story and couldn't understand what this woman witnessed. He then decided to do a little digging and see if anyone could shed some light on the mysterious humanoid. When he then asked around about these creatures, he didn't get the response he expected. Instead of being laughed at or mocked, he was actually firmly shut down, being told not to ask those sort of questions. This only caused him to become more interested in the topic and go on to do his own investigations. Although he never pursued it while at work, he said that he spent countless hours doing research on the topic and that these stories of aquatic humanoids may be real. When the daughter asked whether he thinks the Navy are aware of these animals, he paused and said that he thinks they might be, going on to say that there's many divisions within the Navy and they investigate things such as unidentified objects and also strange things seen in and around the ocean. It's reported that he got talking with another man who had been in the Navy for over 20 years, and he said that while on a submarine, they detected a mysterious object moving at hundreds of knots. The odd thing about this was that it kept flicking in and out of the radar, which he said made it difficult to know what it was. Again, this former worker shared stories about strange creatures that had been found by the United States Navy, but said that he never conducted any of his own research on the matter, saying that although he was interested, it was likely that he wouldn't get very far. One interesting report comes from Zimbabwe. Unlike the cute animated portrayals of the mythical creature, the mermaids of Zimbabwe have been a recurring problem for those living nearby large waterways in the country, as the humanoid creatures have reportedly been at the center of a variety of random attacks, vandalism, and delays in construction efforts. Back in 2012, while working on the Gokwe and Osborne dams, the Zimbabwe construction company claimed that nearly every employee had left the construction site in fear for their lives after having been attacked by a strange humanoid river monster known as the Mamba Muntu. It was believed that the Mamba Muntu used the rivers as natural outlets to the ocean and that they had become terribly angered by the construction efforts. Debates were made on whether or not construction should continue before a full report on the environmental impact was made. However, under pressure of contracts and health standards, construction continued regardless. This forced the local council to hire entirely new workers from out of the country to work on the dam, as the locals refused to continue working on the construction of the project due to their superstitions. Oddly enough, after several weeks, even the foreign workers resigned after claiming to have been attacked by humanoid sea creatures and regarded the entire river as being cursed. In an effort to appease these strange creatures, the council was forced to perform cleansing rituals and make offerings to the creatures before construction began again with no further issues. Although most do not make the connection, Zambia, the closest country to Zimbabwe, built the Kariba Dam in the same waterways within their borders. The project was determined to be a necessity in the region, as the water from the river would not only be able to power all of the electrical requirements for that region, but it would also prove to be a major work program that would allow a number of locals to generate income. Unfortunately, many of the religious figures, already suffering under the oppressive hand of the government, felt that the construction of the dam was a violation of the principles of their god, known as Nyaminyami. Nyaminyami was, more specifically, the god of the river Zambezi, and was believed to reside within the river. The religious figures argued that if the dam was built, then Nyaminyami would curse them for messing with the natural ecosystem and bring on a terrible tragedy, urging the locals to defy the government and refuse construction. Despite this sentiment from the religious leaders, many of the locals would still go to work on the construction of the dam, assisting in the government's tactic to force the native Batonga people to move from their homes and live elsewhere. Almost as if directly predicted by the religious leaders, shortly after the Batonga people were moved, a devastating flood tore through the region, and due to the half-construction of the dam blocking the only direction for water to flow, it led to the entire dam becoming destroyed, taking out every single worker that was working on the construction of the project. Oddly enough, not a single worker had been recovered. Given the fact that the majority of those who passed away were locals, this led to many of the relatives begging the religious leaders to help lift the curse and allow the dam to be constructed without any future problems. The religious leaders then gave instructions to the people that the only way for the curse to be lifted was if they offered a calf to the river. For some inexplicable reason, after the ceremony was completed, the workers appeared where the calf was placed in the river, allowing the souls to finally be put to rest. The story of Captain John Smith. According to old myths and rumours published back in 1849, during the year 1611, as Captain John Smith and his crew were travelling around the West Indies, they spotted a strange creature in the waters beside them. The crew described the creature as resembling that of a woman for the upper part of her body, except with a few key changes in her face, such as that of her eyes, of which were described as larger and more round, a short nose, long ears, and bright green hair. The lower part of the creature's body was described as being similar to that of a dolphin's body, and not that of a fish or scales of any kind as other tales of mermaids claim. Interestingly enough, when researchers looked for the source of the tale concerning Captain John Smith and his crew's encounter with the mermaid, they found that the original author for the piece, that was published in 1849, was the author of The Three Musketeers. This has led many skeptics to believe that the stories could have been fabricated. However, at the time, the author was more than well versed in writing articles pertaining to non-fiction and had even co-authored other pieces that involved true stories of encounters with mermaids. This helps to not only prove the author's fascination with the subject, but that the rigorous fact-checking involved with publications at the time more than helped to steer the author clear from fictitious accounts in his works. Still, to this day, many claim that the account is nothing more than a forgery, despite evidence of Captain John Smith and his crew encountering other strange creatures in the sea and often writing about them. The Adaro humanoid. One of the darker tales involving the mythical sea creature known as the mermaid is that of the Adaro. According to old mythologies and accounts, the Adaro are described to be more similar in behavior to that of evil spirits roaming the Pacific Ocean and living at deep depths in the darkest regions of the ocean, though they do share many physical characteristics with that of the mermaid legends. The Adaro are described as looking similar to that of a person, but with large gills behind its ears, a long tail fin instead of feet, a shark-like dorsal fin that can grow into the shape of a large horn, along with a massive shark spear growing out of the top of its head, similar to that of a swordfish or a sawfish. The origin of the creature appears to be far more paranormal in nature rather than that of other means. According to legends surrounding the sea creature, an Adaro is born when a man of evil falls into the ocean and passes away shortly after. This evil then lingers and grows in the ocean, forming the body of the Adaro, of which will continue to grow in numbers. Said to reside close to the Solomon Islands, it appears that these creatures are far more sinister than the traditional mermaid legends and definitely an encounter to be avoided. The ocean covers about 71% of the Earth's surface, but only a small portion of it has been explored in detail. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, We have explored less than 5% of the ocean, with the deepest parts of the ocean remaining largely unknown to us. The lack of exploration is partly due to the sheer size and depth of the ocean, as well as the technological and logistical challenges of conducting research in such an extreme environment. However, advances in technology, such as deep-sea submersibles and remote-operated vehicles, are helping scientists to explore more of the ocean and discover new species and ecosystems. Overall, there is still much to be learned and discovered about the ocean, and ongoing exploration and research will continue to uncover new insights and mysteries. According to the National Reporting Center that investigates mysterious aircrafts, sightings in and around Virginia are up. Over 190 reports were made in 2019, and as each year passes, that number increases. Reports range from these objects appearing to be in the shape of a disc to other shapes such as the pyramid and triangle. One interesting photograph that was recently sent to us was captured above Virginia in 2017. The person said the reason they sent it across was because they've been seeing similar-looking objects in the sky above Virginia and was wondering if anyone else had seen the same thing. The object that was photographed has been described as a large cube, with others saying that it looks like it was taken near a tornado. This could be the case, as Virginia is a place that suffers from tornadoes, with the worst times for them being between the months of April and September. Those who saw the image said that these strange-looking cubes are not anything new, and that each year bizarre black cubes can be seen sitting in the clouds. Not much information can be gathered about the photograph, as when you track down the original poster of the image, a man by the name of Mr. Garcia, he didn't put a caption on the photo. Those who study mysterious aircrafts have said that it looks similar to other cubes that have been witnessed, but as of right now, no one seems to know where these things are coming from, and note that they don't match conventional aircrafts. The user who sent the image said the following: "The reason I sent this was because it looks very similar to something I've seen. I live close to Woodbridge, and while driving home I've seen on a few occasions a strange-looking object. The only way I can describe this object is that it looks like a large black cube, seems to have the ability to hover in the sky, and doesn't make a sound. I would guess that this thing is well over 100 feet in the air, but every time I've tried to take a photograph of it, the image just appears blurry, and you can't really make out what I'm seeing. I have an iPhone 11, but even that can't seem to pick this thing up. I've seen it twice now, but can't work out what it could be. It doesn't remember a plane, a helicopter, a blimp, a hot air balloon, or something natural like an animal. It just sits there in the sky without moving, and doesn't seem to be affected by things like the wind. Also, I know that this thing isn't a cloud, because I can see other clouds hitting this object and then splitting off, so if this was a cloud, it would travel with the others. I've also seen other strange objects within my area. For example, another craft I saw had a ring of 10 lights around it. They would occasionally blink, but not enough for them to be something like a plane. I've talked with friends and neighbors in the region, and they said they've seen strange things." End quote. Researchers who study crafts have said that various people have seen these strange cube-like objects, and go on to say that although they are rare, they are occasionally seen. Another resident who lives in Woodbridge also came forward to detail their sighting, saying that they saw 14 to 24 lights that were flying in a strange formation. They said the following: "They turned and headed north and back to the west and disappeared. They were all illuminated in white to a pink color and made no sound at all. At the point that they turned back west, I could see another craft with green blinking lights coming from the north. I retired from the army after 32 years of active and reserve, and I have never seen a craft like this before." End quote. In recent years, people have been going online and reading through the countless declassified documents that have been uploaded. Hundreds of thousands of them exist, and although the majority of them are not of interest, some of them go on to detail strange encounters with mysterious aircrafts. According to declassified documents, a secret investigation team established by the British Ministry of Defence, tasked with studying unidentified objects reported across the United Kingdom on the 4th of August back in 1990, a Royal Air Force pilot intercepted one of the largest unidentified objects ever recorded. According to the military report, at around 9 in the evening, a pilot of an RAF Harrier fighter jet noticed what was later described as a diamond-shaped aircraft, more than 75 feet in diameter, hovering 20 miles north of Pitlochry in Perth and Kinross. Although the document does not go into detail surrounding the mysterious encounter, It's described that the craft hovered for approximately 20 minutes before disappearing at incredible speeds. Prior to 1948, the media would often treat any stories surrounding unidentified objects and supposed encounters with an otherwise forgettable attitude. Oftentimes, such stories were held for short periods of time and were only printed during down news cycles, in which there were not many other interesting stories available for the weekly newspapers. It was quite common for the eyewitnesses to be quoted in out-of-context claims in an effort to provide the story with a silly or wacky quality, and would serve more accurately to put down these individuals, rather than shining a light on their story. This would leave many eyewitnesses frustrated and often ridiculed for sharing their personal stories. It was not until 1948 that the light-hearted attitude of reports would reach their end. Often considered the turning point in how the news media would treat mysterious aircraft cases, the Thomas Mantell incident would be the first report of an unidentified object being the primary cause behind the premature passing of an experienced military pilot, who at the time was sent in pursuit of the unexplained craft. According to the Thomas Mantell report, it was on the 7th of January, back in 1948, that the Godman Army Airfield, located within the Fort Knox United States Army installation, residing within the state of Kentucky, received a distressing report from the local Kentucky Highway Patrol. Officers with the Highway Patrol claimed that several eyewitnesses that were spread across two neighboring towns, Owensboro and Irvington, had reported multiple sightings of what was described as an unusual aerial object that was traveling westbound from the town of Madisonville. The unknown and unidentified aircraft was believed to have been somewhere between 250 to 300 feet in diameter, hovering somewhere north of 10,000 feet in altitude. Perplexed by the report, the Godman Army Airfield quickly sent several military officers to ascertain the nature of the situation, fearing that the object could have been an attempt by a foreign power to stage an attack against the United States military. It was not until about 1:45 in the afternoon that the Godman Army Airfield would receive confirmation of the impossible-to-explain aerial object from a sergeant by the name of Quinton Blackwell, who was stationed at the Fort Knox control tower. Sergeant Quinton Blackwell reported seeing what he described as a small moon. According to Blackwell and two other eyewitnesses stationed within the control tower, the object was a pale white and luminous, completely spherical in shape, and was far larger in size than any known aircraft at the time. Even today, the largest known aircraft ever constructed, the AN-225, has a wingspan of 290 feet in length and is not spherical in shape. Another eyewitness, Colonel Guy Hicks, who was stationed as the base commander at Fort Knox, viewed the strange luminous object through a pair of high-quality binoculars and claimed that the craft was at a distance that made it appear to be 1/4 the size of the full moon, while hovering at 10,000 feet and possessed an illuminated red border along the bottom of the craft. Colonel Hicks was later quoted as saying that the spherical craft appeared to have been stationary for roughly 1.5 hours, maintaining its position with ease. Fearing that the unidentified flying object was a possible experimental enemy aircraft, the Godman Army Airfield tasked 4 F-51D Mustangs of the Fighter Squadron Kentucky Air National Guard, of which were already in flight, to investigate the unknown aircraft and approach its position with extreme caution. Of the 4 Mustangs, one of the pilots immediately radioed in to the air traffic controller to land at the airfield rather than to pursue the unidentified craft, under claims that he was low on fuel and would need to make an emergency landing. The 3 other Mustangs, one of which being piloted by Captain Thomas F. Mantell, confirmed that their fuel was more than sufficient and began their pursuit. In their pursuit, several of the pilots claimed that they witnessed what was described as a much smaller aerial object, but that the object was so small and indistinct that it was impossible for them to identify exactly what it was or its dimensions. It was at this moment that the large spherical craft began to ascend several thousand feet into the air, forcing the pilots to reorient themselves to continue their chase of the foreign aircraft. Military reports would later claim that it was at this point that 2 of the pilots immediately began to turn back for the airfield, believing that they had insufficient oxygen to continue their ascent after the unexplainable spherical craft. However, doubt would later be cast over such claims by researchers at later times. It was at this moment that only Captain Thomas F. Mantell continued pursuing the craft, with the air traffic controllers claiming that they could hear Thomas Mantell describing the object as being metallic, and of tremendous size. The military officers would radio to Mantell that it would be ideal for him to level his aircraft at his current altitude to try to see the object more clearly. Unfortunately, either due to communication errors, electromagnetic interference, or adrenaline, Thomas Mantell would ignore these commands and continue his vertical ascent to 25,000 feet. Reports would later claim that the cause of malfunction was due to pilot error, believing that Thomas Mantell did not possess an oxygen mask. Although the reports would make such claims, it would be incredibly atypical for Mantell to be missing his oxygen mask and for the Mustang to have been equipped with a dwindling source of oxygen. Additionally, given Thomas Mantell's experience at high elevation flying, it would have been incredibly unlikely for the captain to have engaged in dangerous behavior with a lack of viable equipment. Regardless of the cause, at approximately 25,000 feet, Thomas Mantell was registered to be unconscious, causing the fighter jet to pitch down into a nosedive. The 300-foot unidentified object would then leave the area, only to reappear at the Clinton Country Air Base located in the state of Ohio at around 7:20 in the evening. The Clinton Country Air Base would release the following report the next day. A sky phenomena, described by observers at the Clinton Country Air Base as having the appearance of a flaming red cone trailing a gaseous green mist, appeared in the southwest skies of Wilmington last night between 7:20 and 7:55 in the evening. Sergeant Gail F. Walter and Colonel James Hudson, control tower operators at the airfield, first saw the phenomena at 7:20 in the evening and observed its maneuvers in the sky until 7:55 in the evening, when it disappeared over the horizon. The sky phenomena hung suspended in the air at intervals and then gained and lost altitude at what appeared to be terrific bursts of speed. The intense brightness of the sky phenomena pierced through a heavy layer of clouds passing intermittently over the area and obscuring other celestial phenomena. 4 members of the alert crew joined the control tower operators in observing the sky phenomena for approximately 35 minutes. Not much was ever discovered surrounding the luminous spherical object, and sightings of the craft were dismissed as a possible balloon. So, what do you make of these mysterious reports and encounters? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comments section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.